Hello everyone, it's Julia back again with the latest episode of Newfound Reads, where I get a chance to talk to local authors or authors writing about local stuff. Today I get to chat with Karis Cotter, super spooky children's author. Karis's latest book, Dollhouse, promises to be a perfect fall Halloween read.
Because the whole story happens in this haunted Georgian house, and it's a beautiful mansion. And there's a dollhouse, if you can see there's a dollhouse in the
Let's
attic,
see so.
replica of the bigger house.
Oh,
And so, yeah, that's the cover.
so who was your illustrator for the cover of your book?
It was an artist named Chloe Bristol, and she's you can look her up on on her website. She does amazing illustrations for a lot of different books, and she did just a fantastic job on this. I love it.
I love book covers that have like little hidden gems, like
Yes,
little Easter eggs, I guess.
yes.
So we were talking earlier about the marquee on the front.
Yes, the marquee, it sort of looks like a marquee in lights, and it's got kind of Art Deco lettering, and that's because some of the story happens in the 1920s. So that's that's just a bit of a they did that with the design. It looks,
It's beautiful.
yeah. And these are the two girls, Alice and Fizz are the two main characters in the book.
So do you have a little excerpt that you could read to us today?
I do actually. I do. I'm just gonna have a little drink of water. Um,
Prepare the vocal cords. Yes.
yes, because well, there might be screaming. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm ready.
So I'm going to read a spooky scene from near the beginning of the book. And just to give you an idea of what's been happening, Alice and her mother have gone to live in a beautiful old Georgian mansion for the summer. Alice's mother is a nurse, and she's been hired to look after an elderly lady named Mrs. Bishop, who owns this house. And Mrs. Bishop has broken her leg. So they're there to look after her. And from the moment she first sees the house, Alice is convinced that it is haunted. Now, this scene takes place in the very first night that she sleeps in the house. She's sleeping in a luxurious room in a four-poster bed that has an old-fashioned china doll lying on the pillow. And the name of the chapter is The Ghost Room. I don't know what woke me up. I opened my eyes, and for a moment I wasn't sure where I was. I seemed to be floating in some kind of pale green bubble, faintly lit from outside by a white light. My first thought was that I'd somehow fallen into the jellied salad, but then I woke up a little more and realized that the green was the bed curtains that hung all around the bed, and the white light was from the moon. Someone sighed beside me in the semi-darkness. I froze. "Mom?" I squeaked. The person sighed again, and there was a movement beside me as if they had turned over. There was somebody with me in the bed. Was it the ghost Lily had told me about? I felt icy cold and burning hot all at the same time. I couldn't breathe. I tried to turn and look, but I couldn't move. It was as if I was suddenly paralyzed. I swiveled my eyes to the right. Something was there. A lump under the covers, a head on the pillow. "Mom?" I whispered, and then I managed to turn my head ever so slightly. A girl lay beside me, sleeping. She was about my age, with dark red hair and a few freckles across her nose. She was breathing softly. I stared at her. Was this the ghost that Lily had seen? Who else could it be? But she didn't look like a ghost. Her chest was rising and falling gently as she slept. I have never been so scared in all my life. I wanted to scream, but I still couldn't move. All my limbs felt heavy, like I could never lift them. A pressure was building up in my chest, and I felt like I would burst. I needed to breathe, but I couldn't. She opened her eyes and looked at me. They were green, like the bed curtains. She blinked a couple of times. "Hello," she whispered, smiling. "Is it time to wake up?" The scream ripped out of me, and I just kept on going, getting louder and louder. I shut my eyes tight so I wouldn't see her anymore. Everything grew very dark. After what seemed like a very long time and a lot of screaming, there was a fumbling at the door, and my mother was at my side. "Alice, Alice, are you okay? What's wrong?" I opened my eyes. The girl was gone. The doll lay where she had been, with her head on the pillow and her auburn hair peeking out from beneath her lacy cap. For the second time in 24 hours, I saw my mother looking into my face with a worried frown. Her hair was every which way from sleeping. I started babbling about a ghost and a girl and Lily and the moon, and finally my mother gave me a little shake. "You've had a bad dream, that's all. I'm not surprised with everything that's been happening the last 2 days. Take a deep breath and another." Obediently, I did my best to breathe slowly, but I could see the doll out of the corner of my eye, her red lips curved in a little smile. I pushed my mother away and picked up the doll. As I tilted her upright, her eyes opened. They were green. I started screaming again. That's the end.
Yay!
Just a little
That was
taste.
awesome.
Pardon me?
That was awesome.
Oh, thanks, thanks. Just a little taste of it.
Oh, that was wonderful. So, your book is out in physical form.
Mhm.
You also have it as a digital copy and we have it in our e-library and we have it in the library and it's for sale from Penguin Random House.
Yes,
Um, it's probably at Chapters and everywhere else you can imagine
it is.
wonderful books are, but you also have it as an audiobook.
Yes, I this year for the first time one of my books has been made into an audiobook and I'm really excited about it. It's delightful to listen to it. It opens up a whole different aspect of the book to me to hear it come to life with somebody's voice. And the actor who's doing the book is she's her name is AJ Bradell and she's very good. She has a young voice, but she can also do the voices for the different characters that are grown-ups. So she does a really good job and she's really like really spooky. The way she tells the story is really spooky.
Have you considered narrating your own books?
I had, yes, but I think they preferred to go with a with an actor who was had more
Because I
experience.
think you sounded wonderful.
Well, I used to be an actor myself, but I think that reading an audiobook does take a certain kind of skill, and this young woman has had experience doing this with other books. So she really, I have to say, she does an excellent job.
So what do you have coming up for all of the voracious readers that are your fans?
Well, I've got so the Dollhouse is out. I'm working on another book. It's called The Mystery of the Haunted Dance Hall. And
Ooh,
it's set in a summer camp in a park, sort of like Algonquin Park in Ontario. That's what I'm basing it on. And it's a bird watching camp. And it's about some campers and it's also slightly it's I'm kind of inspired by the Grimm's fairy tale, The 12 Dancing Princesses. And you
yes.
know that story. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a difficult book to write because it's a bit different than my other books. It's not so much a family drama as it's girls interacting with their peers at a summer camp, but there's a mystery and there's ghosts and there's a bit of magic and it's a lot of fun.
Your books put me in mind of some books that I had read before. One of them is called The Black Cloak, I think, and it was set in oh, what is it called? The Vanderbilt Mansion
Yeah. Oh yeah.
in Tennessee, and because you are able to meld that kind of ghost and that preteen kind of imagination and magic, and you can put it all together in a sensible way that feels real, but also feels really kind of exciting, like we were talking about being scared,
Scared.
and
Yeah.
it's okay to be scared
Yeah.
because I can close the book if I get too scared and put it under my bed.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm trying for is I'm trying to make it seem like it could really happen. Like
Mm.
and that's why my books aren't considered fantasy because they have some supernatural in them, but I really I think that it does appeal to that age group to think, well, this could happen to me. It could happen. You know?
Exactly. And you know what? When I was at the other library working at Marjorie Muse, we would go every year. I would go to the Mary Queen of Peace and the Vanier Elementary Schools, and I would tell ghost stories.
Yeah.
And I would just go into the class and I would tell a story, and then all the kids would like, "Oh, well, this happened to me, and this
Yeah.
happened to me on the way home, and my neighbor across the street has a really creepy basement, and blah blah blah." And I think there's, and I could be there all day,
You
and they would
could.
just, yeah, just, and they just love it. They
They
love being able
do.
to share that story, and there's always something appealing about verbally sharing your stories. But I know that you've done some projects with kids where you guys have created like little books for them.
Yeah, I've gone into schools and worked with on some Art Smarts grants where I've gone into schools and the kids collect ghost stories from their families and they write them themselves and then we publish them in two books, The Ghosts of Baccalieu and The Ghosts of Southwest Arm. Those are two different ones in
Yeah.
Conception Bay and one's in Trinity Bay, the schools.
And you can
And it's
find those
really
at your local library.
pardon me?
And they're at the local library.
They are at the local
Mhm.
library, yeah, and they're really interesting because 'cause they're all pretty well all of them are traditional Newfoundland ghost stories, and some of them overlap, so you'll hear a different version of the same story, but it was wonderful to be in the community and getting these stories from the community, and then publishing them in a book and giving it back because it was the thing about Newfoundland is there is this oral tradition of storytelling and people always say, well, they're not, you don't hear storytellers like the old days and they've all died off and stuffing. But when you actually go and you say to the kids, go home and ask your nan or your pop for a ghost story, they'll come in with one.